Imagine landing your dream job in Japan, but you do not have the money to move to Japan because no one told you how much money you needed to save. In this video, I'm going to be telling you a rough breakdown of the monies that you're supposed to keep in order for your move to Japan to be comfortable. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is Teach in Japan with Matilda. In today's video, I'll walk you through a full budget, your visa fees, police clearance, airfares, initial living costs, deposits, and etc. so that you know what to plan for and whether you get an ALT job or it's Eikaiwa and whether you provide or whether your company is going to provide housing or not. I'm going to make sure it's going to be clear for you on the amount of money you can try and save for your move to Japan. So, why does saving matter? First of all, when you first land in Japan, you might not get a paycheck for the first month or two, and this depends on your company's paycheck cycle. Why do I say so? Most companies in Japan pay you in arrears. And when I say they pay in arrears, I mean, for example, now is the month of November. My November salary will be paid in December. On December 20th, I'll be receiving November salary, not December salary. So you get paid a month behind, a month behind. So if you arrive in Japan in January, your workmates who have been there already are getting paid for December salary, which you did not do. So you won't get a paycheck. That's what it means. And the second thing which makes you have to save is the initial costs of things like lease deposits, key monies, utilities, furniture, transport, food, etc. And the last thing is if you're coming from, for example, Zimbabwe, where I come from, you need to get a police clearance certificate, which you might have to pay for. You have to apply for a visa, which also needs money. And if you're going to be shipping any of your belongings to Japan, you also need shipping fees and, airfares and stuff like that. So let's start with your pre-departure costs. And in this video, I'm going to be using Zimbabwe as an example. And all the monies I'm going to talk about are going to be in United States dollars, not Zimbabwean dollars, but United States dollars. It'll be easier for you to just convert the currency from United States dollars to whatever country currency you use. So let's start with the police clearance and background check. And this is something which is required for most Japanese companies, especially when they have to apply for your COE. So in Zimbabwe, this might cost anywhere from $20 to $100, depending on the process and the police station. So let's put it at a maximum of $100. Then you also need to do your visa application and your COE, which is the Certificate of Eligibility. And often the employer arranges the COE for you, but you still might have to pay for the translation of the document if the company doesn't send you an already translated COE. And some companies might make you send your documents via post. So the courier fees might range from $100 to $200. It's all dependent on which company. Some companies will allow you to send your documents via email by scanning them, but others might require you to send physical copies. Let's look at your airfare. And for this, I'm going to be talking about a round trip airfare, which is from Harare to Japan and vice versa. So economy flights usually range from $1,200 to $1,500, depending on the time of the year and the route or route. So this is for a round trip. Remember, round trip means to and from. So if it's going to be just one way, I would put it at around $600 to $800. Then if you're going to be sending stuff to Japan, if you feel you want to carry some stuff like blankets and stuff, you might have to do personal shipping of your items. And this is optional because it's actually very expensive and it might range from $300 to $500. Personally, when I moved to Japan with my sister, we did not carry things like blankets and um, other things because, for example, when I came to Japan, I was working for Pepe Kids Club and they do provide you with a futon and a duvet. So you should also check with your company if they provide futons and bed covers. If they do not, there are a lot of second-hand stores in Japan which are actually quite cheap. A blanket will go for roughly 3,000 yen, which is about $20. So it's possible for you to buy those things in Japan. But if you want to ship your stuff, budget around $300 to $500. So already our total pre-departure is already ranging to about from 1,650 to $2,300. This includes the round fare ticket. Remember, it's round fare. But to make it a comfortable buffer, we're going to round it off to $2,000. And this still includes the round fare ticket as well as the optional shipping. So if you remove the shipping, we are looking at about 1,300 to 1,400. Now, let's talk about the moment you arrive and you settle in Japan. So once you land in Japan, you're going to have to pay things like your apartment deposit, key money, and agency fees. This is for people who will be working for companies that do not provide housing. And if your company does not provide housing, it means you're going to have to pay the rentals and the moving costs by yourself. And you might pay upwards of 200,000 yen in initial fees, which is about $1,300. And this is usually the most realistic amount where you budget from 1,000 to 1,500 for your moving costs. Then you also have to look at your first month's rent and utilities. So we're going to be using a city which is outside of Tokyo. Your monthly rent would range from 50,000 yen to 70,000 yen, which is about $330 to 460. And your utilities, which is your gas, electricity, and water, including internet, can range from 100 to $150. So let's say your utilities will be around 450 to $600. Then your living costs before your first paycheck. So many relocation guides suggest having at least 3 months worth of living expenses in reserve, but this is quite unrealistic for many people. When I came to Japan, I had about a month and a half worth of living expenses money. So if the housing is provided, it means the utilities and the rent, you do not have to worry for them. All you need to pay for is your food, transport, and phone if you're going to get a phone in Japan. And this will range from $800 to about 1,500 for at least 1 month. So your total arrival and settlement money, if there is no company housing, please note, this is for someone who doesn't have company housing. I would say have at least 3,000 US dollars. But if your company gives you housing, you can budget about 1,000 to $1,500 to be safe. But you can be frugal with your money. You can use less than $1,000 if you're going to be frugal. Usually, these amounts are for people who would want to go to restaurants every 3 times a week, just buying expensive stuff. If you're going to be like me, who is frugal, I actually didn't use even up to $700. I was very cheap when I first moved here because I was scared that if I didn't save money, I might have an emergency and not be able to pay for it. Then let's talk of a case scenario if you're going to be an ALT or if you're going to be an Eikaiwa teacher. So for ALT, which are the public schools, where if you're working as a dispatch ALT, I'm not going to be talking about JET, but I'll just be talking about dispatch ALTs. So your salary will range from about 220,000 to $280,000, which is about 1,500 to $2,200 per month. And if your housing is not included, you will need a little bit of higher savings to cover the initial lease. And if housing is included, like what most ALT companies do, then your upfront buffer money can be lower. You do not need to keep $2,000 when you arrive. 1,000 will be okay. And if you work in an Eikaiwa, which is a private conversational school, like I do, your typical salary will range from $250,000 to $300,000, which is about maybe 1,800 to like 2,300. So in summary, if you're an ALT and your housing is provided, aim to keep about 1,000 to 1,500. And if you're an ALT or Eikaiwa teacher and housing is not provided, aim to keep $2,500 to $3,500. And always remember that you also have pre-departure costs, which include your police clearance, courier fees, visa, and your shipping costs. And this can be up to about 1,500 to $2,000. So I would say your minimum savings, if your company is going to provide housing, the minimum you need to save for everything would be 2,500 yen to about 3,000, sorry, 2,500 US dollars to about $3,000. And if your company doesn't provide, 4,000 to $5,000. Now, all these monies I've mentioned, like the money you need to move when you arrive in Japan, the company does not need you to show proof that you have it. Nor does the visa office require you to show a balance in your bank. This is just for you to be able to survive when you come to Japan. If you're a risk taker, you could come with nothing, but you die of hunger. So, if you think you cannot save these monies, find a way. Maybe when you move from a country, buy a lot of food stuff so that you don't have to buy food when you arrive in Japan. You can cook for yourself. That way you can save money. Maybe carry more clothes so that you don't have to buy clothes when you arrive in Japan. But still, clothes are quite cheap if you go to second-hand stores. So there you have it. You have a full breakdown of the money that you need to save before moving from your country to Japan. I hope you got enough knowledge from this video. And if you want to show me that you enjoyed watching this video, please write the word banana in the comment section. It will let me know that you watched the whole video. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you enjoy my content, please give me a follow, subscribe to the channel, give me a like, and leave me a comment. Give me feedback on what you want me to see, what you want me to do next. And don't forget to hit the little notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you get a notification. It tells you when I have new content. Thank you so much for being here with me. My name is Matilda, and this is Teach in Japan with Matilda.